they're smart, they just come up with the answer, and you say, well, that's no good, because I need to see how you
working.
got there.
Yeah.
You know, you will only get one of the points from doing the right answer, but you'll get 4 more points for showing us how you got there. So I think that's quite... And then phrases like, well, you do all that, let me share the way I thought about this. But I do think, even if it's a lie, that phrases like, I've really reflected on this, and I've reflected on how I reached the decision, or, you know, that's all good. Let's see what else.
That is all really helpful.
Body language. Okay. So, handshake and smile. We won't be doing any handshakes.
No, or smiling behind the face.
Do you smile much in a professional context?
See, I think I do.
Yeah.
But maybe no.
No?
I could smile more. Partly, actually, maybe it was subconsciously because I knew I was coming here. I was sat in another 3-hour bloody meeting this morning, and the way I was positioned, I could see myself on screen the whole time.
Yeah.
In a way that I can't usually.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, God, you look really miserable.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe it's the braces. I'm probably smiling less because
of the braces. Yeah.
I would say I'm quite a happy, smiley person.
Yes.
But maybe I'm not as smiley as I think I am.
So one of the ways to test it is if you've got some video recordings of your Zoom things that you've done over the last few months, just get a piece of paper out and tally up the number of times that you give a visible...
Ken's feedback, you can smile more.
Yeah, give a visible smile. Yeah. You've got you're very beautiful, but you've got quite an angular face.
Yeah.
And when you don't smile, you can look a little bit severe.
Well, and I think that's it's not just that I don't smile as much as I could. I'm sure I don't. But when I'm not smiling, I look quite
You look quite scary, yeah.
And that is just my natural face.
No, I know it is.
But then I have experimented over years with that, just smiling more, and people have actually said to me, "Why are you putting that face?"
But you see, you're smiling now.
And so
but you smile a lot when you're with me.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. And I would say I do
in normal
life and interaction and conversation. I definitely smile. I think I'm quite funny.
Yeah,
I quite like humour.
Yeah, you do.
So actually, I think I am smiley, but in a room where I'm not necessarily leading a conversation, I think I can look quite severe. My listening face is severe.
My daughter refers to it as my resting bitch face.
I have heard that phrase too.
Yes, that's a new one for me.
Been used in that direction.
And she said to me that apparently Gwyneth Paltrow has got some sort of new Botox, which makes her look more cheerful. Because you know, as you get older, your mouth kind of you get that kind of.
That's what I was looking at also this morning. I'm like, oh dear, I'm gonna have to get some fillers.
Yeah. So I think that is definitely a thing for you. I don't want you to grin like the Cheshire Cat. I just think, again, be aware that what might feel quite excessive for you could easily look normal.
Yeah. So Hermione, I don't know how well you know, she's very smiley.
Right.
And it's nice, and you warm to her because she's generally her resting face is smiley.
Yeah.
Well,
your resting
definitely not.
No. Your resting face will never be smiley, but you can smile, and when you smile, it's lovely. Yeah. And it really changes your whole vibe when you do it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something to look at. What else have we got? Oh, just slightly, we talked about dropping your shoulders, kind of having a slightly more slouchy posture at times, or at least not being kind of too formal and rigid. Talked about eye contact, reciprocal smiling, which you don't always do.
No.
Actually. And that's a very, you look at primates, gorillas and chimpanzees, reciprocal smiling is one of the most important things in the primate world. So it's another thing that and it's also quite easy. The thing I like about reciprocal smiling is you don't really have to think about it, because if someone smiles, you smile back.
Yeah. Do I not? I know I don't.
Not always. Not as much as you could.
Yeah. No, that's, again, easy one to fix.
More movement, more gesture. You often adopt quite a sort of, I guess what would be called a closed body posture with your hand across your body.
Yeah.
And you don't use gesture very much. It's another thing that you could experiment with, using a little bit more. It will just make you look a little bit more messy.
Yeah, I think I would call it T-Rex. Yeah. So I use a lot of hand gesture, but actually this bit is kind of here. It's all here, not here.
Exactly.
More of owning this and that. The whole own the space.
Absolutely.
This kind of more.
You're more
hands, but everything else quite compact.
You're quite contained.
Yes.
And again, if we think about the childhood that you had, and the sorts of risks and difficulties that you had when you were little, being contained and being small, and going under the radar was all very good. Big gestures, big emotions, big shows of affection, big shows of anything really, were probably didn't feel safe for you.
Yeah, that's true. And also it is quite hard to be contained when you're 6 foot tall. And I mean, I'm very conscious of my height and a bit gangly, and a bit generally taller than any. If I'm on stage, if I've got heels on, I will definitely be taller than anybody around me. So I do think again that I slightly overcompensate for that.
I agree. But also, let's make that one of your most amazing qualities. Yeah. You know, you don't need to be ashamed or embarrassed about your stature, because you are statuesque. I mean, you're. It's one of the best things about you. Yeah. And if you can really be powerful with your body, the movements that you make with your body, it will be even better. So if you see, when I move my hands, I'm moving them. There's a gap between my body and my hands, whereas you typically kind of move more like this. Yeah. Again, it's all about, spinning this narrative that you're a little bit more exuberant than you are. Yeah? Yeah. 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 Just for a bit?
I can do that. Genuinely, none of this stuff scares me or particularly faces me. It's just getting it into the muscle memory and getting used to doing it. And
totally agree.
So I can do it without having to think about it.
So there are loads of ways of helping you to do that. One of them is to don't bite off more than you can chew. Yeah. So I've given you like 25 suggestions, or there will be 25 suggestions. Just pick one. That's all I want you to do. Pick one and master it. Yeah. And once you master it, we move on to the next one. Yeah? Yeah. Because otherwise it's like, oh my God, I've got to move my hands, I've got to do the receptacle smiling, I've got to sound like this. Yeah. Yeah?
Maybe I can pick 3. I reckon I can cope with 2 or 3 at the same
time. Okay. But it can sometimes it's sometimes quite good to start off modest anyway. Whatever modest feels for you. Yeah. And also that will build your confidence. And then as your confidence gets more and more, you'll be able to commit to bigger changes and maybe 3 or 4 or 5 things. So those were the main things that came up on Project Warm. I know we did a bunch of... mirroring is the other thing. So this is a really good technique. So basically mirroring is people wouldn't even know you were doing it. Yeah. But if I leaned in, you would lean in. Yeah? If I sort of put my hands on my knees, you would put your hands on your knees. So it's a way of showing the other person that you're attending to them, that you're in tune with them, and they won't even notice you're doing it. So,
I'm sure they
won't. Well, Heather will, but she's got sort of a supernatural ability to read you through years of honed practice. But most people, honestly, will be. And I tell you what, I'm going to say something sexist now. Men never notice these things. Yeah. I mean, women are often a lot more observant and would say, "Oh, I know what Laura's up to." Yeah. But men just notice. Men are just completely oblivious. I mean, they are, as you know, as an owner of a man, you do know what I mean.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. So I think, given that most of these people, the senior men in the firm, could be targets for some of this, then they really wouldn't know. Yeah. They might just say to you something like, "There's just something different about you. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is, but you're just coming across just slightly differently." Yeah. And that's what we want.
Yeah. No, we do.
Yeah.
No, good. That's been a very helpful crash course reminder. I mean, it's all sort of in there, but I think I've just you kind of forget it, don't you? And working remotely, you don't have. I mean, I'm sure we can do some of this stuff, the smiling and stuff online, but perfect timing as we're kind of going back into the big wide world.
But I mean, there is also an argument to be made, Laura, where you just say, "Well, fuck it, I'm not doing it. This is me. If you want to elect me, you can elect me. If you don't, I'll go do something else."
And I'm not there yet. I'm in the world of, this is quite funny, it's game.
That's what I like about it.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to see.
That's exactly
have you eating out of my hands.